Good evening, Anthony. It really is remarkable to see the contrast from today's beautiful sunny weather, lower humidity, and then yesterday's mugginess with those tropical downpours. It was, just a soaker, not just in Toronto, but you mentioned St. Catharines, flooding from the recent rain, local amounts of 100 to 150 millimeters or more. And then we just had, a couple of days ago, a similar rain event. So the ground super saturated, and what we need are days of dry weather, and I think we are going to see that now. So some relief coming to St. Catharines and Niagara region, and all of the rivers that are running high around the GTA up towards Ontario Cottage Country. Water levels are higher here because of some of the recent rains, and now we do have that northwest wind at 20 to 40 kilometers an hour. It is cooler tonight because of the clear skies and low humidity, down to 10 in London, 13 St. Catharines, 12 in Wyerton and Muskoka. Same goes for Peterborough, 13 in Ottawa. So yes, a cooler night tonight, and then tomorrow we warm right back up again, hitting 28 in the afternoon. The rest of the week's forecast is still ahead in just a few minutes' time.
So if you're...
Well, hopefully you had a fantastic weekend. I know the weather today cooperated. Yesterday, a bit of a different story, right? Well, we're going to be back into the sunshine tomorrow. 17 degrees at 8 a.m., climbing up to 27 through the afternoon up until dinner, and then it does start to cool off. Winds from the south, they'll be picking up about 15 kilometers per hour. So a beautiful Tuesday, very similar to what we had out there today. Large area of high pressure back in control. That low pressure system, yesterday's downpours, that's now moving through eastern Quebec towards Labrador, and then we do have some active weather in Manitoba and northwestern Ontario. Another round of rain and the potential here for strong to severe thunderstorms. On the other side of that front, some relief, less smoke and much cooler conditions out west. 18 in Saskatoon, 17 in Regina, Calgary only 19 degrees. There is, however, some heat building ahead of that front, and that's what we have in store for the next couple of days. Hot, but not oppressive, and not that humid. Cloud-free skies for all of us on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we have that approaching front coming in from the west. Tobermory, some clouds, maybe a shower in the afternoon, but that system is slowing down, so we escape with another nice day through much of southern Ontario. It will be cool at night. 10 degrees in London tonight, 12 in Muskoka and Peterborough, and then tomorrow, very comfortable. This is on par for where we should be for this start to the month of August. 28 in Newmarket, Caledon 27, Muskoka 28, 27 in Belleville. Now the warmth continues on Wednesday. It starts to feel a bit more humid as we get into Thursday, and that's when we introduce the risk of showers and thunderstorms, about a 70% chance. Lingering wet weather on Friday, and then clearing out into the weekend. But this is really the heart of summer, and we're going to be seeing some warm air and hopefully a lot of sunshine as we go through the next 7 days. Let's look at your forecast.
And Catharines has declared a state of emergency due to flooding caused by heavy rainfall. And now the city's mayor is making an appeal for support from the provincial and federal governments from his own flooded basement.
Been left to fend for itself. So I am respectfully requesting at this time that the federal, provincial governments get together and find a way to provide some form of disaster relief assistance to the city of St. Catharines. Again, no infrastructure can handle a hurricane's worth of rain on Tuesday and then again on Sunday.
A pair of intense storms dropped more than 140 millimeters of rain on the city this week, flooding thousands of homes, including the local MP for the area, who shared this image and footage on social media. The nearby municipality of Lincoln has also declared a state of emergency. Meantime, here in Toronto, it was a different story with a warm, sunny day to close out the long weekend. With that, let's bring in our chief meteorologist, Anthony Farnell, with what's ahead. Anthony.
Good evening, Anthony. Such a sharp contrast from yesterday's torrential rain to the beautiful weather we had today, and it is going to continue right through the middle of the week. We're going to string together several dry days in a row, which is just great news, particularly in the St. Catharines, Niagara area. This region has been hit not once, but twice within a 5-day stretch, 100 to 150 millimeters on each occasion. And that is, well, that's almost a summer's worth of rain falling in a week or less. So you can understand why more than just basements have flooded. There is still a state of emergency, as we heard, and dry weather is what we need, and that's what we have. 22. Toronto, St. Catharines, Hamilton starting to cool down now that the sun has set back to the west, and it will continue dropping up until sunrise tomorrow. There isn't much in the way of wind here. We're looking at 5 to maybe 15 kilometers per hour. And then as we go through tonight, we see a low of 15 here, 12 in Peterborough, 13 Ottawa, 10 only in London. Just barely holding on to double digits. But after that cooler start, it quickly warms up. 28 in the afternoon. Winds start to switch to the south. There still isn't much in the way of humidity. It'll feel like 32 in the afternoon. It is going to rain again eventually. We'll talk about that next chance of showers and storms in just a few minutes.
Thank you so much, Anthony. 7 more.
Well, hopefully you've had a fantastic day and a great weekend, whether it be with family, with friends. I know it's pure summer today in particular. Yesterday almost felt like fall, except it was kind of tropical at the same time. But definitely we got our fair share of rain, and now we've dried out and it's going to stay very sunny tomorrow. High UV index, barely a cloud in the sky, south winds at 10 to 15 kilometers an hour, and that temperature likely hitting 28 in between these hours. That would be the high, and we may be up to 29 by Wednesday. A large area of high pressure sitting around the Great Lakes. This is low pressure. Lots of rain. That's our system from yesterday. And then we have another area of low pressure impacting northwestern parts of the province, and that is bringing some needed rainfall to those areas that have been impacted by fires over the past few weeks. Speaking of fires, just a horrible situation in Spokane, Washington, in Vernon, BC. Multiple structures destroyed by out-of-control wildfires, and now some of that smoke is moving towards the west coast, towards Vancouver and the Fraser Valley. And there's still no rain in sight, even though it was cooler today, which helped. 22 in Vancouver, 20 Calgary. It's very pleasant in Thunder Bay, and then of course we know what the weather was like in Ottawa and Toronto. Completely clear, and it'll be that way again tomorrow for those lucky enough to maybe extend their long weekend just a touch. On Wednesday, more of the same. Eventually, there is a front that's going to move through, but it slows as it approaches. So this is 4 o'clock, and most of the showers are out over Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. Wednesday, late afternoon, evening, we may get some rain, a thunderstorm in the Bruce Peninsula, but still nothing for the GTA. So a welcome stretch of dry weather after that soaker on Sunday. 10 degrees tonight in London, 15 for Toronto. Tomorrow, very close to average for this time of year, 26 to 28. Depending on where you are in the Greater Toronto, Hamilton area. 29, yeah, looks likely on Wednesday. And then it stays warm even though there's a risk of storms. Thursday and Friday, more humidity by then. 29 Saturday, 28 on Sunday. It's a real summer stretch as we're getting a little further into the month of August.